Cage Minds, Micah Frankel at Rosales, and we got Brandi Babi Doll with us. I heard there's a new last name.
Sure.
Sure.
People know me by Montoya still, so it's fine.
All right, and we're talking about a return to boxing. I mean, It's been like 6 years. You've served our country. You're married now. You have a child that's running around us. And still we're standing in a ring.
Coming back, it's just something that you love. I mean, it's like an addiction. You can't get away from it. You think you're done, and then next thing you know it, you're training again, and then next thing you know it, you got a fight lined up. So.
After you were done with your service time, was this always the plan to make another run at boxing?
I actually tried to fight while I was in the service. There was one that I actually had lined up, but I ended up hurting a ligament in my thumb, so that didn't go as planned. When I got out, I wasn't planning on fighting. I was, I'll be honest. It was.
You tried to tell yourself you weren't going to do it.
I tried to tell myself I had other things planned, and it's not my priority right now. My family and my career right now is priority, but it's definitely something that it just doesn't get out of my head.
So you've taken on a career now?
Yes, I'm pursuing engineering.
So you're going back to school, or are you already?
Yep, I'm going back to school for software engineering.
So fight camp and college classes at the same time, and raising the little son around here, what'd you say, 15, 16 months old?
15 months, yep.
So how's this busy schedule? How's handling going?
I don't like to be bored. I'm not one that likes to sit on the couch or lay down. I like to watch a movie with my husband every now and again. I get energized and I feel more motivated when I'm doing something. So that's just the way I like life. Life is short, so you gotta schedule everything in.
One of my first boxing interviews we did in this hallway on those steps years ago, and it was a young boxer looking to find her way in the world. Totally different woman standing in front of me today, right?
Yes. Back then, I think, really it's just maturity, aging, being in the military. I've had a lot of life experience, I'd say, especially I'm not even 26 yet. I'll be 26 this month. And I think for my age, I have a lot of stuff under my belt that people that are a lot older than me don't have. I'm very proud to be where I am, and I know that I still have a whole lot more to go.
What were some of the biggest things that you picked up for your own, adult growth while your time serving?
First thing that comes to mind is patience with people, patience with a diverse range of people. Next thing I think is knowing your capabilities, so being able to work for as many hours as they sometimes require you to work, or waking up at 4 in the morning and having to go do something, or 3 in the morning. Just your capabilities are probably a lot further out than what your mind tells you.
And tell us about the athletic differences. You got definition. You look like you changed physically since we've seen you last in the ring. Obviously, you've matured.
I think, right now I would say it's mainly training. Athletic, as far as the military, it's completely different. I mean, it's really just running and running with your boots and your pack, and totally different. But I think really, I've always been one to say this, it's more on your eating. It's the way you eat.
And how much different of a fighter are you now?
I'm gonna let you guys see. No.
Do you feel a lot different?
I do. I feel, again, with the maturity, I think I'm more mature in the ring. I can think better. I can think more clearly. My anger isn't there so much. I think I had a little bit more anger back then. I can listen to my coach more. I don't know. It's a little bit different. Things, maybe my age, but things are just clicking and kind of falling into place more. I want to train more. I want to train harder. Yeah, it's motivation. I don't know.
And I gotta believe that looking at a fight used to be a stressful situation, and now you've dealt with stressful situations, so it probably doesn't look as big now.
It's still stressful. I mean, it's still I'm kind of an awkward person, so not so much the fight is stressful to me. It's more being with a bunch of people and having the spotlight back a little bit on me again. Even if it's slowly coming, it's still that's more of a stressor to me than the actual fight in itself.
When you were expecting that fight from the Chavez Promotions, I remember a couple years ago trying to set up Skype calls,
yes.
and your dad trying to.
Yes.
Was that whole process with getting injured a deterrent, or just kind of reassessing whether you wanted to fight? What did that do?
I think that was when I told myself I wasn't going to fight in the Marine Corps anymore, or I wasn't even going to attempt. I still trained. I trained a lot. I went to a few different gyms, California, and I trained there. I did some MMA training with like different people, and I did boxing, and I was really just trying to keep my mind fresh with it. Again, it's just something that you can't let go. But I knew I wasn't going to fight again in the Marine Corps, and I didn't want to risk getting hurt and then that messing up whatever I was doing, training, or I couldn't mess up my Marine Corps career, so I had to like put it to the side a little bit.
Does it feel different now preparing for the fight, and as it gets closer with it having been the 6 years?
I mean, it feels like my first fight kind of again, is like nerves and butterflies. Training is different just because I have my child here training with me. I mean, back then I was like 18, 19, 20 years old, and now I feel like an old woman with my kid and my husband, and he trains with me here sometimes.
Now, have you thought about what it's going to be like getting back in the ring, actually fight night itself, what those emotions, what those feelings are going to be like?
I think about it a lot, and I just get butterflies. I play it in my head. I play out different scenarios, winning, losing, you know, how I'm going to react. It's just butterflies, really.
How much did you pay attention to the boxing scene, even though you weren't competitive, while you were this last 6 years?
Not as much as I would like to, or I would have liked to. I paid attention to the big fights. I couldn't even tell you what they were throughout those 6 years, or 5 years. But I did pay attention to it. I honestly would say I paid attention maybe to MMA a little bit more, just because that's more of like what the Marines were watching. So we'd go to a bar or to a restaurant and we'd go and watch the MMA fights. So I think I swayed a little bit more that way.
So when you get back in this ring on the 20th, what do you got to do to be successful?
Stay calm, stay confident, and at the end of the day, you got to listen to my coach.
Is it going to be, it's been weird getting back to the training, hearing Coach's voice again. You trained under Coach Rosales for so long, and then you had other people yelling at you for so long. Has it been strange getting back to the training?
Not strange, it feels like a piece of a puzzle went back into its place almost. Me and Professor Rosales, I mean, he's watched me grow up. When I was 13 years old, I've been training with him so long. It was strange being in California and listening to other people. It was very hard because every coach has their different training styles, and you know what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I was getting told that something that I was taught here for so long was wrong, and I have to reprogram myself. And I was happy and I was comfortable with the training that I received. So I just, now that I'm back here and I'm back with the guy who bugs me all the time and who yells at me, and it's comforting almost. Like I'm back home.
Now, Cecilia Renova, how much have you looked at your opponent yet?
I looked at her a little bit. My coach looked at her a little bit. We've seen some very short clips. There's not much on her. Just like I don't believe there's not much on me. But from what I've seen, I mean, she's impressive. She's strong. She's fast. I know she fought Ayana, who I also fought Ayana, and I think she's going to be very tough. It's going to be a very good challenge for me.
What have you thought about the reception to returning to boxing? I heard from the promotion, the girls are getting a lot of attention, a lot of fanfare. What has that meant to you?
It gives me hope, I guess, for female boxing, that it's not going away, that it's not dwindling. Most of the shows that I see, I mean, girls definitely put on a good show, and the probability that a girl fight is going to be better than a guy fight is kind of, I would say, a little more than half. It's just good to see that there's still action and there's still fans that still want to see it. Even though it's boxing, I know MMA has like kind of taken over a little bit, but it's still good to see that there's a fan base for boxing as a whole. Your
son's running around the gym. Too young now to know what's going on, but what kind of message do you want to present to him with showing him that his mother had this professional boxing career?
Even in the Marine Corps, I think it is such a big deal to me to have respect for women, and not like a woman's place, not like women should do this, boys should do this. I want him to respect a woman as a human being, and that they're strong, they're tough, they're mentally strong, they're physically strong. I want him to have that respect, but I also want him to have respect for himself and know that just because his mom was a Marine and his dad was a Marine and his mom was in boxing, he can do whatever he wants to do. Whether people like it or dislike it, I want him to not care and just do what his heart wants him to do.
Last message for the fans?
It's going to be a great fight, and I hope to see everybody there.
October 20th, we'll see everybody at the Hispanic Cultural Center.